out. But to the launch pad and our live commentary coverage of Chandrayaan 3's lunar landing on the South Pole. We are now just over, you can see it there, we'll begin that countdown, just about 30 minutes away from that automatic landing burn being conducted, and we are super excited for today's landing attempt. Chandrayaan 3 launched 40 days ago, 2 hours, 39 minutes, 52 seconds ago. It's been a long journey to the lunar South Pole, but we are now on that final orbit preparing for lunar landing. Let me say that right. Lakshanya. Sorry if I say that wrong. Love your channel. Appreciate it. Catching up here. If you guys have questions, make sure you're tagging us at the launch pad so we can catch those chats going absolutely crazy. But we'd love it. William, you should feel proud of yourself. India, fourth nation to land on the moon. Absolutely super exciting for all of us. Omkar is asking, which is the first fastest successful moon mission? Well, I believe that would be Apollo. Would probably be the fastest because of just how many days it took them to get there, but it was a much bigger launch vehicle to get to the moon faster. So ultimately, it doesn't matter how fast you get there as long as you can land successfully. Whether it takes you 3 days or it takes you 40 days, really doesn't matter as long as you can do it successfully. Also, what kind of rocks are on the moon? What is the composition of the rocks? That's what we're going to study. So Chandrayaan 3, the lander is going to study and observe the characteristics of the moon and the surface around it, studying what materials are there. And then the rover itself is going to study the composition of the lunar surface. It's going to look for the presence of water ice. It's going to look at the history of lunar impacts in the area and study the evolution of the moon's atmosphere. So it has a number of different tools on it to be able to do so for its study. It's obviously its navigation panels and solar array as well. So it's going to be super exciting. There's going to be a lot to study on board. The lander itself has the Chandra Surface Thermophysical Experiment, which will measure thermal conductivity and temperatures on the lunar surface. It also has an instrument for lunar seismic activity, so we're going to study what the seismic activity is around the lunar surface with the plates of the moon. It also has the Langmuir probe, which will study for plasma density variations at the lunar site, or lunar lander site. Then we have the rover. The rover has an alpha particle X-ray spectrometer, which will derive the chemical compositions and infer mineralogical compositions of the surface. So it's going to actually kind of like shoot rays at the soil of the moon and study that. It also has a laser-induced breakdown spectrometer, which will determine the elemental compositions, looking for Mg, Al, Si, K, Ca, Ti, and Fe on the lunar soil and rocks around that lunar site. And why this is so important? We are going to the South Pole, and this is where we have plans to build lunar bases with the Artemis program, and that's where we believe there is water in frozen ice, obviously being one of the biggest important things that we need to be able to go to the moon and to stay. Orphix, what are your thoughts on a multi-stage 40-day burn-up, burn-down trajectory as opposed to faster trajectories? It works. Obviously, to not do that longer time, you need a bigger rocket. But if you can do it with a smaller rocket and it takes longer, that means more people are going to be able to do it, and that's a really, really good thing. So definitely something there. Maniac, over 1 million people waiting on the ISRO's channel. That is so incredible. The world really is stopping to watch this. So if you haven't yet, take a moment, share out this stream, invite people to join us. We'd be glad to have them here. And we're going to continue answering their questions. And there we have it, a live view inside the ISRO mission control room with raw telemetry of Chandrayaan 3. You're seeing this live at the same time I am, as we are now 26 minutes away from that landing burn of the Chandrayaan 3 lunar module. We are continuing to count down to touchdown of Chandrayaan 3, looking at that live telemetry. We'll listen in to mission control. We will be patching that in and out as they will be presenting both in English and in Hindi for today's stream, but that is a live view inside the mission control room for Chandrayaan 3 as we await the automatic landing burn to be conducted. That burn now 25 minutes, 30 seconds away from now. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, helps us out. Let's see, can we get to 10,000 likes before that burn conducts itself? It's free to hit the like button, but it really helps us out, so I appreciate your support in doing so. But that is a great live view. We'll continue to listen in and out of mission control as we await the landing burn.
चंद्रयान 2 चंद्रमा के लगभग सभी भागों का चित्र ले चुका है। इसका एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण पेलोड OHRC यानी कि ऑर्बिटर हाई रिजोल्यूशन कैमरा विश्व का सबसे बेहतरीन कैमरा है, जो कि चंद्रमा की सतह का लगातार पिक्चर भेज रहा है। अब मैं आरुषि जी से निवेदन करूंगा कि वो आप लोगों को इसरो के वर्तमान मिशन चंद्रयान 3 के बारे में बताएं।
अभी आपने मिश्रा जी के द्वारा सुना इसरो के अब तक के लूनार मिशंस का विवरण। अब चलते हैं टुवर्ड्स चंद्रयान।
A little bit of a staticky audio. Hopefully they'll be able to get that sorted there. Saw a question come in the chat from here from Adia. Saw a question coming in. Someone was asking what happened with Luna 25. Its engines burned too long. That is what happened. So instead of burning for 100% of the time required, it actually burned for 150%. So it slowed down faster. So ultimately it intersected the moon earlier than it was supposed to. That is ultimately what happened. If you're just joining us, though, welcome here to the launch pad. We did have a live view inside the ISRO's telemetry tracking command center. And let's listen back into mission control.
इस महाअभियान से जुड़ने के लिए आप सादर आमंत्रित हैं। मैं पद्मदेव मिश्रा अपने को-होस्ट श्रीमती आरुषि सेठ के साथ आप सभी को और देश विदेश से जुड़े सभी दर्शकों का हार्दिक अभिनंदन और स्वागत करता हूं। 23 अगस्त 2023 आज की शाम इसरो के वैज्ञानिकों और सभी अंतरिक्ष वैज्ञानिकों के साथ लैंडर मॉड्यूल को चंद्रमा के सतह पर उतरने के ऐतिहासिक पलों को देखने के लिए तैयार और उत्सुक हैं। जी हाँ, इसरो के गौरवपूर्ण इतिहास में एक और अध्याय जुड़ने जा रहा है और आज हम सब लोग इसके साक्षी बनेंगे। आप ये सारे विजुअल्स अपने स्क्रीन पर इसरो के मिशन ऑपरेशन कॉम्प्लेक्स यानी मॉक से देख रहे हैं, जो कि बेंगलुरु में स्थित टेलीमेट्री ट्रैकिंग एंड कमांड नेटवर्क स्ट्रैक से प्रसारित किया जा रहा है। ये विजुअल्स आपको पावर डिसेंट के काउंटडाउन और उस पथ को प्रदर्शित कर रहा है जिस पे चलकर लैंडर आज चंद्रमा के साउथ पोल पे सेफ और सॉफ्ट लैंडिंग करेगा। आपको ध्यान दिला दूं, इस समय हम लोग पावर डिसेंट शुरू होने से लगभग 22 मिनट दूर हैं। जो दर्शक थोड़ी देर से जुड़े हैं उनकी जानकारी के लिए बता दें, आप लोग इस ऐतिहासिक पल को इसरो के ऑफिशियल वेबसाइट, फेसबुक, ट्विटर और यूट्यूब पे भी देख सकते हैं।
Honorable dignitaries, delegates, scientists, media personnel, and dear viewers, a very good evening to all of you. We at ISRO welcome you to the live coverage of India's prestigious Chandrayaan 3 mission's landing event on the lunar surface. These are the visuals from Mission Operation Complex at ISRO's Telemetry Tracking and Command Network, ISTRAC, situated in Namma, Bengaluru, Karnataka. I, Arushi Seth, and my colleague, Dr. Padamdev Mishra, are your hosts for the evening and shall accompany you on the journey of the landing event from power descent start to touchdown. Today, we shall be witnessing the final phase of the critical and most technologically challenging mission operations of Chandrayaan 3, wherein the lander module will be making a safe and soft landing on the surface of the moon. These display screens show the countdown to a power descent start as well as the path that will be followed by the lander module. We are 18 minutes away from the commencement of power descent. India is at the brink of creating history as we all await with bated breath to witness the landing on Moon's south polar region.
And we're going to update our clocks there. We just had an update. We are now 18 minutes away from that burn. So we're running a couple minutes early there, so we'll work to update that countdown clock. If you're just joining us, we're listening in to Mission Control as we count down to the automatic landing sequence burn being conducted by Chandrayaan 3. We are getting closer and closer to that burn time, so we're just going to update that clock now. Just under 18 minutes approximately away from that burn being conducted. We'll work to sync our clocks to the best of our ability. And looking through some live footage showing the history of India preparing to go to the moon. If you're just joining us though, welcome. Make sure you take a moment, engage that like button, and subscribe so you never miss another live launch coverage, space news update, or exclusive one-on-one interview. We're glad to have you joining us here this morning. Super exciting day for India and for the world as we prepare to watch Chandrayaan 3 land on the lunar surface. Just re-syncing that clock there. We are now just about 16 minutes away from that burn being conducted, and now less than 40 minutes away from actual touchdown of Chandrayaan. Jason, thanks so much for the excited cat, super excited little gift there. If you'd like to help support what we do, make sure you take a moment, engage that like button. It's free to do so, and share out the stream on social media. It's a big day for India. We're continuing to look into live views of the Chandrayaan 3 mission control room, where everyone is waiting for that landing burn to begin. If you guys have questions, you can send those to us in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. We did want to bring up one more time before we dive deep into making sure that we cover everything that is happening today. If you are interested in collecting some kind of limited edition merch for today's mission, you can do so by heading on over to the launchpad.store. We have our ISRO, and Chandrayaan 3 launch gear and space gear that you can get. Use promo code MOON3. You do get 10% off your order, and global shipping is available, so definitely take a moment and consider checking that out. Some of those items are going to be limited edition, so consider doing that. But something that you can do for free if you are interested is we are now accepting names to be part of our first mission to the moon. Yes, here at the launch pad, we are sending our own payload to the lunar surface. We're excited to be sharing more details over the coming weeks about the rocket and the payload it will be on board with. But you can send your name for free. So if you head over to our website, tlpnetwork.com/lunex1, you can send your name and your family names for free, and you have an option. You can upgrade your payload to send a photo or video aboard our payload as well as part of our digital capsule. So definitely check both of those opportunities out. Something super exciting. Send your name for free and consider picking up some actual launch gear for today. We are now under 15 minutes away from that landing burn. So Murat says, all the shirts on your website are really nice. We appreciate your support there. We've tried to keep the prices as absolutely low as possible, but we are working to keep those prices as low as possible, but unfortunately just some of our manufacturing partners, that is pretty much as low as we can go right now, but we are offering as much promos as we can. Chandrayaan 3's mission control team is playing through some videos explaining the journey of Chandrayaan 3 to the lunar orbit that it is in now, as we are now just over 35 minutes away from the landing attempt here.
Plan of following the incremental trajectory approach carried a total of 5 earthbound maneuvers. The fifth apogee-raising maneuver, which took place on the 25th of July, placed the spacecraft in an orbit of 250 by 127,000 kilometers. At the early hours of 1st August, the translunar injection was carried out, after which the composite module began the final leg of its long journey of nearly 384,000 kilometers for its rendezvous with the moon. The TLI was a key step in the mission, enabling the spacecraft to escape Earth's gravitational pull and travel to the moon. An orbit of 288 by 369,328 kilometers was achieved at the end of the translunar injection.
जी हाँ, ट्रांसलूनर इंजेक्शन किसी भी इंटरप्लेनेटरी मिशन के लिए बहुत ही आवश्यक परंतु कठिन ऑपरेशन होता है। इस सफल मैन्यूवर के बाद चंद्रयान 3 पृथ्वी से दूर निकलकर चंद्रमा के प्रभाव क्षेत्र में एक हाइपरबोलिक ट्रेजेक्ट्री।
So they're showing you there the journey Chandrayaan 3 was in lunar orbit. It had, once it arrived, it did that higher orbit and then conducted some burns, lowering its altitude, its perloon and apoloon, as it prepared for its journey here. That is when the rover then separated from the propulsion stage, and we are now 12 minutes away from that lunar lander firing its engines, committing itself to a lunar landing attempt 34 minutes from now.
अन्यथा उपग्रह चंद्रमा के प्रभाव क्षेत्र से बाहर निकल जाएगा। LOI के सफलतापूर्वक परिचालन के बाद चंद्रयान 3 की कक्षा को 4 बार और परिवर्तित किया गया। इस दौरान चंद्रमा की अधिकतम ऊंचाई को घटाकर 160 किलोमीटर कर दिया गया। इस पूरी प्रक्रिया में प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल का लगभग 755 किलोग्राम ईंधन का उपयोग हुआ और चंद्रयान 3 के वेगमान को लगभग 850 मीटर प्रति सेकंड कम कर दिया गया। लैंडर मॉड्यूल को लगभग 150 किलोमीटर के सर्कुलर ऑर्बिट में स्थापित करने के बाद 17 अगस्त 2023 को प्रोपल्शन मॉड्यूल से अलग कर दिया गया। पुनः लैंडर मॉड्यूल के ऑर्बिट को 2 ड्यूबूस्ट मैन्यूवर्स के द्वारा 150 किलोमीटर के सर्कुलर ऑर्बिट से घटाकर 25 गुणे 130 किलोमीटर के एलिप्टिकल ऑर्बिट में स्थापित कर दिया गया। इस दौरान यह भी सुनिश्चित कर दिया गया कि 800 न्यूटन के चारों थ्रटेबल थ्रस्टर्स पावर डिसेंट के समय किसी भी चुनौती का सामना कर सकें। लैंडर मॉड्यूल इस ऑर्बिट में 4 दिन तक चंद्रमा की परिक्रमा करता रहा ताकि इसके सभी सब सिस्टम को पावर डिसेंट से पहले कार्यात्मक रूप से वेरीफाई और वैलिडेट किया जा सके। इस दौरान चंद्रयान 2 और लैंडर मॉड्यूल की आपस में बातचीत भी हो चुकी है और संक्षेप में अब तक की यात्रा की बात करें तो लैंडर मॉड्यूल अब तक 21 बार पृथ्वी के और लगभग 120 बार चंद्रमा का चक्कर लगा चुका है और इस पूरी यात्रा में लगभग 55 लाख किलोमीटर की यात्रा भी पूरी कर चुका है। अब तक के इस पूरे अभियान में यह भी सुनिश्चित किया गया कि सारे ऑर्बिट मैन्यूवर्स इस प्रकार किए जाएं कि लैंडिंग साइट।
The Dream College begins with students. Orbit plane contains the desired landing site at the start of powered descent. We are also happy to announce that live images from the Chandrayaan 3 lander imager camera is being received continuously. The demonstration of soft landing on the moon's surface is no ordinary feat due to the innumerable challenges and complexities involved. The lander velocity has to be killed from nearly 6,048 kilometers per hour without any aid from the thin and tenuous moon's atmosphere. The lunar dust at the time of landing and the craters and boulders scattered over the moon's surface make it further complicated to achieve this. The new and improved Chandrayaan 3 design has been built after envisaging all the scenarios which the lander module can encounter. With several software improvements, provision for full-level redundancies, a plethora of special tests, namely the integrated hot test, integrated cold test, and lander leg drop tests were carried out for the lander module. The success of these tests has provided great confidence in the performance of all the onboard sensors, propulsion system, and associated guidance, control, and navigation algorithms. The key findings during the tests have been able to improve the overall system performance. The largely unexplored south pole of the moon has been chosen as the intended landing site since there is a possibility of finding ice and other minerals which would be vital resources for future explorers. Apart from continuing investigations pioneered by Chandrayaan 1 and Chandrayaan 2, the Chandrayaan 3 mission will also provide invaluable data to the science community around the world. Let us give our viewers a glimpse on the configuration of Chandrayaan 3 mission.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We are now just under 8 minutes away from the landing burn. They're playing a video here explaining how the touchdown will go. We are now less than 30 minutes away from the landing of Chandrayaan 3. We're continuing to count down now those final minutes of Chandrayaan 3 being into lunar orbit. If you haven't yet, take a moment, share out the stream, invite people to join us. This is a world event, as you can see here, as they prepare to land Chandrayaan 3 on the lunar surface. It's going to be an incredible day of history here today, and we're glad to have you joining us here. If you haven't yet, engage that subscribe button, because here at the launch pad, it's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together. We're glad to have you joining us all here as we count down those final minutes. They're showing here how during that descent phase, it will use all of its different cameras to track where it is landing, looking at all of the images that it's taken, those images that we saw the last few days, confirming its location and where it actually does want to land. We are now under 7 minutes from that landing burn, just over 28 minutes from touchdown. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad, and we will work on answering those live to the best of our ability throughout the remainder of this, waiting for confirmation of a successful landing burn just over 6 minutes time from now. Sean asking a really great question. Why so much time for the rover to come out after landing from the ramp opening? Just not to rush anything. Once they land, they want to confirm things, and then they will go through checkouts, and then there is a process for when ultimately they do want to separate. So that is just the process as we go. Now 6 minutes away from that burn being conducted with the lunar module. If you haven't yet, though, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the stream, invite people to join us here. We're about to make history. Also, consider taking a moment and sending us a photo of where you are watching from, who you're watching with. Document this moment in history, where you are. We're going to put some of those out via social media throughout today's stream as well. Ryan, thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you for this commentary. THB, that's a new one. I haven't seen that currency before, but really appreciate your support and what we do. All that goes back into getting us better equipment, better systems, to be able to bring you guys the best possible coverage. And you guys are blowing this away. It's a big day for Chandrayaan 3, but this is crazy. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting everything that we do here at the Launchpad. This is only thanks to your guys' support that we get to do this. Aran's asking, what are my opinions upon success? If the lander lands, even if the rover doesn't work, it is a success. If we have a lander that touches the surface and is in one piece, it is successful, and that is what we are counting down to. Now, less than 5 minutes away from that burn being conducted. I don't even think I was this excited with Artemis 1's launch, and this is a landing, so this is really amazing. We're so glad that you are joining us here, and we're watching this together. Make sure you're sending those photos of who you're watching with and showing your screen. I know we've got a bunch of schools watching. I hope there is lots of energy, and you guys are just as excited where you are watching. This is a huge moment for India and for the world as we await for the landing of the lunar module. Deep, how is this going to change the world if successful? It means we have another nation that can land on the moon. That's what this means. It means we can land on the South Pole. It means we are preparing to go to the South Pole, which is where we believe we're going to build a base. So some big milestones. Let's listen back into Mission Control now, less than 4 minutes away from that burn.
Minutes away from the start.
I'll continue to bring updates as I can.
The entire powered descent shall be carried out by the onboard autonomous landing sequencer, or ALS, which is a series of instructions preloaded to the lander module. These instructions include the commands to be executed, data to be collected and analyzed, and decisions to be made and executed autonomously throughout the powered descent.
As always here at the Launchpad, let's see that go, no-go in the chat for that landing burn. This is where we are waiting for Chandrayaan 3 to commit to a lunar landing. We are approximately 3 minutes away from that being conducted. Let's watch and wait as we wait for that confirmation of burn startup.
प्रक्रिया को पूरा करने में लगभग 11.5 मिनट लगेगा और इसका समानांतर वेग 1680 मीटर प्रति सेकंड से घटाकर 358 मीटर प्रति सेकंड हो जाएगा।
We have continuous flow of lander telemetry data